which is always my mantra, right? I'm always talking about advanced bookings because I think that's the best way to save them. That's what I call Aloha Spirit. It's a world championship. It's 32 miles to cross the channel from Molokai to this part of Oahu on the east side. Aloha and welcome once again to the Hawaii Vacation Connection. My name is Bruce Fisher. Thanks very much for checking in with us. We got a great show for you today. On this Friday, June 3rd, 2011, this is our 462nd podcast. We're going to be answering podcast listener questions and also Facebook questions today. And this podcast is brought to you by us. We're the owners of Hawaii Aloha Travel. We're in Hawaii, Hawaii's experts, and you can catch us on the web at www.hawaii-aloha.com. You can also just give us a call at 1-800-843-8771. That's all we do here. We live in Hawaii, we work in Hawaii, and we help you plan your trip to Hawaii. So get involved with us. You'll be very happy you did. We are going now into our 10th year, and we've helped thousands of people plan their Hawaii vacations to Hawaii. And the reason why it works out so well is because we understand these islands. We are residents here. So that's going to make the difference when we go ahead and plan your Hawaii vacation. Now, we got lots of questions that have come in, and if you'd like to get involved in this and you have a question or you need some advice about your Hawaii vacation, just drop me a line at bruce@hawaii-aloha.com. You can also catch me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is Aloha Bruce, and also the Facebook page. You can ask questions there. And if we choose your question, we are going to send you out macadamia nut Hershey Kisses. Now, you can only find these in Hawaii, okay? They're very specially made, and they have little chips of macadamia nut and milk chocolate. Oh, it's better than a regular kiss, okay? So send your question in, and hopefully we'll use it, and we'll be sending you out a bag of these great Hershey Kisses. Okay, let's get to the questions. We got a first question. It comes from Sandy, and she says, what's a realistic amount of money she should expect to spend on food if she's planning to come to Oahu? And that's a very good question. We get that question a lot because food is more expensive in Hawaii. It's about 20% more. So what we recommend is, usually we say budget at least $50 a day per person. And it really depends on what kind of eater you are, obviously. So here's some tips to help you cut the costs for your meals if you're coming to Hawaii. First, you want to limit the damage by deciding which restaurant or cuisine you really want to go to, and then sort of building that into your itinerary. In other words, if you want to do a fine dining experience that's obviously more money, plan which day it's going to be. Let's say it's going to be on a Wednesday. Well, then on that Wednesday you don't need a big breakfast, so you can save on the breakfast and put that towards the dinner. Another thing to remember is that a lot of the hotels that we offer include breakfast or a continental breakfast. But if they don't, we recommend purchasing food and keeping it in your room. Another thing to remember is that portions in Hawaii, they're huge. They really are large. So at lunch, for instance, you can split it with somebody, or if you have little ones, you can, split it with them as well. And plate lunches are a lot less than individual a la carte lunches that you get. So consider the plate lunch route. And also there are restaurants here that for like $1 more, adults can eat off of the kids menu, which are a lot cheaper. And believe me, there's plenty of food there. Like, for instance, the Big City Diner, which I love to go to. I always get the kids' cheeseburger. It's only $1 more, but it's a lot less than buying, their big burger, which I could never eat anyway. So that's another way you can stretch your dollar. Another thing we recommend is make one of your first stops the grocery store, because if you go to the convenience stores in Waikiki, like the ABC stores or even the 7-Elevens, which we do have here, it's more money, like where you live. So if you're in Oahu, for instance, or if you're on Oahu in Waikiki, you can take the trolley to Ala Moana Center, which has a big supermarket there, a big Safeway, and you can get all your stuff there at much more reasonable prices. Just some other tips. We do have food trucks here. Those are a very good value. Also eating bentos. Those are those little, like plate lunches that you can get there. And in general, I say avoid the chain restaurants. They are, in fact, a lot more money. So hopefully that helps you out, Sandy. Thank you very much for participating. She's one of our Facebook friends. Another question comes in from Stephen, and he says, "Hey, Bruce, which beach on Oahu can I find beautiful shells like this? Well, the shells that he was talking about, I can't show you here, but he sent me a picture of these beautiful shells that had, beautiful oranges and colors and very nicely formed. Well, I hate to tell you, I'm not an expert on this, but I do know a couple of things. First, that it appears that most of the seashells that you find in Hawaii, you find actually in the water. So you'll find them when you're snorkeling or swimming, and you'll find them especially abundant or a little bit more in areas near the coral reefs or near rock ledges. But people in general don't find them just walking around here in Hawaii. So hopefully that answers your question. Very interesting question. Another question comes in here from Chuck. He says, my wife and I are going to Hawaii next year. He says he's poked around and the idea of a dinner cruise is appealing to him, but he's heard that it's kind of lame, is the words he used. And he's asking me if it's worth doing. Well, another good question. If you ask me, just being out on the water is a huge plus. I love the water. I mean, we're right here in Hawaii. By the way, the weather's kind of yucky. It's been yucky the past couple of days. They say it's going to clear out, and that's kind of why we're doing it in-house today. We're not outside doing the show. It's kind of cloudy, but we understand the clouds are moving out. It's starting to actually clear up, I think, right now. And over the weekend, it is going to be nicer. But back to the question of a dinner cruise. I mean, I love being on the water. So right away, if I'm on the water, it's a winner. And it's so beautiful out in the ocean, especially off of the coast of Waikiki. You see the skyline. There's lots of points of interest that you can see, including Diamond Head, the Waikiki skyline. If you go out far enough, you can see down to the Koko Head side or the Poipu side. So it really is just beautiful out there. The sun setting is another winner. You really can't lose by doing it. Now, there are some pros and cons. As far as the food goes, it's okay. It's not the best food you're going to get in Hawaii, obviously. Most of them have buffet style, but it's not exotic like a luau where you have poi or things that you really may not like. You can be sure that the food on there will be foods that you like because they are pretty good at it. They have a fish dish and a meat dish, and they have lots of salads, vegetables, and also fruit. So it's substantial and it's okay, but it's not the greatest food in the world. As far as the entertainment, it's kind of the entertainment that you would expect in a cruise like this. Yes, of course, they're going to try and pick people out in the audience and kind of make fools of them, right? Has that ever happened to you that they tell you that you want to come up and dance or do something silly, and it's kind of fun, and you can kind of avoid that or turn it down if you're not that kind of person. But the entertainment is okay. It's nothing really unbelievable, let's put it that way. The whole experience, though, I think is worth it, and you might want to consider it. And those are the kind of the pros and cons from where I sit if you're planning a dinner cruise. One of the ones we just went on recently was the Navitec dinner cruise. I enjoyed it, great time. And when it's whale watching, you might want to consider doing a whale watch with the Navitec as well. Another question comes in here from Jason Haw. And he says, when does the Hawaii high dwindle? The Hawaii high. What he means is that he came to Hawaii. They were here, I think, in March, he said. And he hasn't been able to stop thinking about Hawaii and dreaming about Hawaii since he was here. Well, you know what? My advice to you, James, is just go with it. Enjoy your memories of Hawaii. And by all means, come back and come back soon. Many people do feel like that. I know lots of people, like friends and family that I bring to Hawaii. And invariably, they want to move here. They want to find out about living here because it truly is paradise. I have to say that this, they say that people in Hawaii are very happy. They are. And we're so happy that in spite of the economy, we still are one of the happiest people in all of America. And at the same time, we have the toughest time with the economy than anywhere in America. So it just shows you that the environment, this place is so special. We have such a special affinity for this place. And I can tell by the question, James, that you have gotten bitten by the bug. So maybe you will move here, or maybe you can move here. It's not that impossible. Another question comes in from John, and he says, when is the best place to plan? He's a Facebook friend. Spending the day on the great lesser-known beaches on the eastern coast of Oahu. So he's asking about the east side of Oahu. That's where we are actually right now. This is the side that is very close to Hanauma Bay. Now, that's a very popular place. So he's asking maybe what are some of the most lesser-known beaches. One of the beaches that I like is on the east side is Bellows Beach. This is actually at an Air Force base. It's only open on the weekend, and for that reason, it's not as popular, and a lot of the tourists don't know about it. So we highly recommend it. It's a beautiful stretch of white sand beach. It's also very family-friendly, so you don't have to worry about that. It's a great place to do beginner boogie boarding, and it's really a pleasant place to just spend the whole day. You can even do barbecuing there. You can have a nice little family picnic there, for instance. So that's Bellows Beach. Another one that I like, which is kind of, I mean, you know, some of these beaches people are starting to get to know already on the east side, but one is Baby Makapu. Okay, a lot of people know about Makapu Beach. Okay, that's where a lot of surfers go. It's great for surfing. But there's a lesser-known beach called Baby Makapu, which is just adjacent to it. It's a smaller beach. You can almost like not even see it if you go past it, but it's a great little spot. I love it because it's really great for snorkeling. And you can always see turtles there. So if you have one of those little cameras, you know, that you can go underwater with, that's a perfect place to do it. It's a great beach, and it's right across from Sea Life Park would be a good landmark for you. So it's called Baby Makapu. That's what I call it. That's what a lot of locals call it. That's another place. But even as you're driving down the east side, there's just many good pull-off points to stop. You want to do an east side tour in conjunction with going to the beaches. Another one is Eternity Beach that I'm thinking of. I've talked about that many times. It's where they did From Here to Eternity, that movie. Also Blue Hawaii. And it's some people call it Flush Bowl, or you know, it's like a little round cove, and it's a perfect place to really be romantic, and kind of there's not as many people there. So that's good. There's just lots of beaches up and down the east side, so it's a good question which ones are a little lesser known. Those are the ones that come to mind. There are other pull-off points right before Waimanalo. There is a small beach park, and it is also frequented a lot by locals and not too many tourists as well. So great question, and I'll be emailing you back and giving you a little more information about that, and giving some links to that. Now, don't forget, if you need more information and you're interested in coming to Hawaii, you want to follow along with our blog. It's hawaii-aloha.com/blog. You can get to it from our homepage. Also, get a hold of our app. We have an app that's available on all the smartphones. And you just go into your store, and it's Hawaii Aloha. Just remember those two words. Key them in there, and you'll be able to download our app, ask questions, follow along. All of our content, which we update daily, is there. So hopefully that will help you out. We'll be hearing more from you. Don't forget, we do this every Tuesday and Friday. We'll be back again next Tuesday. We've been off the schedule a little bit, but we are coming back to the Tuesday-Friday schedule. So look for another show next Tuesday. So that's pretty much going to wrap it up. I want to thank you again for tuning in. For all of us here at Hawaii Aloha Travel, including my beautiful wife, we're going to say aloha and mahalo.